This is Daniel, the founder of Bookkeeping for Painters. And today I'm here with James Hatfield. Super excited to have James on. He is the Chief Revenue Officer over at LiveSwitch. And James has a very unique background. He was a painting business owner, he's been in the tech space and entrepreneur in that space as well. And he's going to kind of combine these two experiences and develop this really cool technology for video. And I'm really excited to have him on the podcast today to dive into how you can use video in your painting business to streamline operations, close more sales, and make customers more happy in their experience working with you. So, welcome to the podcast, James. How's it going?
Great, Daniel. Thanks for having me. I love being on the painting podcast. It's just full circle for me. So I'm just so grateful to be here and talk to other painters that are listening. I have walked in your shoes and many miles in your shoes. So excited to talk a little bit about some stories and technology together today. It's good.
Yeah, it's crazy because you actually got your entrepreneur start in the painting space, right? And then you went on to like create SageWorks and like do big things, like pretty amazing things. But you actually got your start in running a painting business, right?
Yeah. My grandfather, I owe it to him. Unfortunately, his dad died really young, and so he was the oldest of many kids and had to drop out of high school and go work at a tire shop. And so when I came along as grandson, he's like, "Hey, you know what? My dream is for you is you should paint the highway. You'll always have a job." That was his big dream. James, paint the highway. Because I come from this background, we didn't have anything, kind of farm boy kind of thing, and he that was his dream. And so I went, well, I'm not going to paint the highway to start, but how about we start by painting houses? I can do that. And so I started painting a company there that way, knocking on doors. I'm dating myself, but I knock on doors for cash and get my crews jobs and um, walk around, do everything, and ran that for quite a long time. And thought I should probably get a college degree. Might be good for me. And so I put myself through business school while running my power washing company. And it transitioned to power washing from painting. We still did painting, but also added on a power washing company and was able to really, and I enjoyed it. I love doing it. And I always love the before and after. I love the feeling of walking on site to something that looks terrible and then renewing it and making it wonderful and then being able to pay my team and actually pay for my living wages as well as my college in that case. So it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And you did big things with SageWorks, and then you came back into the tech space with helping painting businesses and similar businesses implement this new video technology. So could you walk me through like where can painting businesses leverage this type? Like, what are we talking about? What does this actually do, and how can we actually improve our painting business with this technology?
Yeah, I always like to start off with a story. Like, how did this come about? So, yeah, we successfully did. You mentioned a company called SageWorks. One of my partners ran a landscaping company, and we are good at numbers. So after college, we kind of understood the books, and so we created a technology that could read your income statement and balance sheet from your bookkeeper and tell me as a painter what does it mean, like, and how do I compare to other people? And that ended up being quite a large company. And then we got back into technology. We went into philanthropy for a while, but we got into technology here with video and at first, it wasn't our ambition to even be in home services to help out home services. I had more of a heart initially, and I still do, for safety and security. And it started with school shootings. We see so many of those across the country now, and it's really heartbreaking. And like someone needs to do something about that instead of arming all the teachers with AK-47s, which we're not going to do. Let's use the phone in their pocket. So I got the opportunity, and this sounds wild, but an opportunity to reinvent the 911 phone call with the chief of police of Washington, D.C. And instead of, the worst part of your phone is the phone, right? It's an ancient technology called telephony. And you're always like, can you hear me now? But now you can get a text from the authorities. You can tap the text, point your phone cameras at the situation, and that can stream right to the police car. So they can see what they're driving into. It's called situational awareness. And so I started talking to a bunch of other guys in the FBI and finally thought, who else could use, tap a text, you're on with video, no apps required. Like, who could use this? Well, I was introduced to a really formative guy in the moving industry, like moving boxes. And I'm showing him our stuff for emergency response. He's like, James, you have no idea what you have. And this happened years ago, maybe about 2.5 years ago. Like, what do you mean? I don't. He's like, we're going to use this for virtual estimates. He's like, the most expensive thing I do as a business owner is I put a guy behind the wheel of a truck send them out to the customer's house in the hope of winning the business. First of all, they're not productive behind the wheel. Second, for me as a business owner, it costs me time, money, gas, wear and tear on the vehicle. And three, my guy better close that deal because if he doesn't, he's on to the next one, and we can only do about 4 to 5 per sales guy per day. He's like, I'm just going to use this, do it virtually, and at least to do the pre-qualification calls at a minimum, so I can see what I'm getting into before driving out. And he was absolutely right. And it's been amazing to see all these home services start adopting video technology into their business, and it changes the game for them. And I've got plenty of stories around it, but it's been exciting, a journey from the 911 phone call now to helping our home service customers.
Yeah, and this is something that's kind of been on social media with different painting businesses experimenting with doing remote estimates, or actually having the homeowner like walk around and kind of show what they want done on their house, so you can provide a proposal remotely, not even having to go to their house and do all this stuff. And so I think this is a really cool technology. Now, I think most folks are using things like you mentioned, like Zoom or other apps that are a little bit harder to implement than what you're saying that LiveSwitch does, because it sounds like LiveSwitch, you literally just send them a text and then they just easily just click a link in the text, and it just like opens up, and then they can immediately start communicating with you and showing you, as opposed to some other stuff, you have to, it's a little bit more time to get them on it, and a little bit more headaches involved. Can you walk through what that process looks like how easy it is to actually get them, get your potential customer, if they're a prospect, to actually communicate with you using LiveSwitch?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the past we've used the tools we had, right? We had FaceTime, we had Zoom, and prior to that, we didn't have any of that. We just had the phone in our car and clipboard. But now with video, and thanks to COVID, or no thanks to COVID, I guess, we're all starting to use video. And customers, you got to think about the customer experience. It's not always just about you and your team and your sales talent, but it's a lot of the customers experience you as a professional. What are they going to do? And welcome to Amazon and Google, right? Your customer is going to go to Google. They're going to Google painters near me, and they're going to look at your ratings. If you have 5 stars, guess what? You're probably going to get a phone call, especially if you have reviews and pictures and testimonials on there. They're going to call you or go to your website and fill out a form, right? What do you do from there? A lot of times, what folks do is they just do a pre-qualification call. You get on a phone call, you check to see if they have the budget, you check to see before what you're trying to do, like, is this person worth me putting myself in a truck or my sales guy in a truck? That's what we're doing, right? And so then you've got to schedule it. And you're having a busy week. You can't get your guy out there for a week. Well, you know what the customer does? They go back to Google and they find the next painter, and they try to, because what customers want are 5-star ranking. How much is this going to cost me? And when can you start? Is that sounds about right? Right. So now what you can do when the meeting still gets booked through maybe using Facebook ads or, again, Google, you still book that meeting. But now, instead of asking a customer to download an app, and they might not, like, maybe you're using FaceTime. Well, not everybody has an Android, and it's not even tuned up for remote assistance. FaceTime is tuned up for grandma to watch the grandkids blow up candles, not a professional painter or salesperson to do remote estimates. And I'll tell you exactly why. We did the reverse of a FaceTime call. So when you do a FaceTime call, you see the other person large and you small. Well, people with crappy eyesight, like myself, I got big goggles on, can't see anything. They have your prospect big, they see themselves big and you small, because they're going to walk around the inside and the outside of the house and walk you around, and you're going to record, take pictures, and you're going to do it from your tablet, your phone, or your computer, and you can see it large. You can, take pictures if there's pre-existing damage, or you can just tell them, again, the human face has a higher close rate than just talking on the phone or tapping on a keyboard or talking to a robot. Your robot's close rate is rather low, and blind bidding leads to bad bids and underbidding, right? You're just trying to get the money. So by being able to use a real third-party assistance technology that's built for this, it is mind-blowing. I'll give you one quick story from last week. Last week, I'm dealing with a painter who owns his own business. He's in his first year of business, and he's never done a remote bid before. Well, last week, it was snowing. We had a lot of snow. It was snowing and he was stuck in Georgia where they don't get a lot of snow. And he had multiple bids. Well, one of those bids happened to be one of the largest bids he's ever bid on, a $25,000 job for him. It was big. He's a growing young company. Well, he closed it virtually and he was hooked. What? You got to taste the money. Once you taste the money as an owner or a salesperson, you're like, I don't want to sit behind a windshield anymore if I can close it. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to close them all, via video, but how many do you have to close before you get addicted to it or doing after hours bidding, which we'll talk about later. But it is simple as sending a text, they tap it, boom, instantly connect with video for third party assistance.
Yeah, I love it on multiple levels. So on one level, it's great for the customer, and you might have some pushback with people wanting to do remote, but I've talked to Eric over at Pathfinder. His painting business does a lot of remote estimates. Actually, all remote estimates now. They just do, that's all they do. And he said that, the vast majority of folks are pretty open to doing a video call to do an estimate. And so if you're thinking like, oh, people might not want to do this, I would challenge that idea, because it seems like there have been other painting businesses implementing this and getting, customers, homeowners to actually be totally open to this technology. And if you think about it from their perspective, it's a lot easier to just have like, oh, just hop on my phone and show you around, as opposed to like having to schedule a time for you to come over. And, they may have some folks might feel obligated. Oh, I got to straighten things up and all this stuff. Like it might be a little bit more invasive of a process, as opposed to just doing a video call and showing you around the house. So I think it seems to lend itself to be easier for the customer, and probably also quicker, I would argue, because you can probably schedule these things a lot more quickly, because you can kind of fit in that time for yourself a lot easier, because you're not having to travel back and forth to different job sites. So because it's making it easier for you to schedule it, you could probably get out there quicker than you could if you had to travel. And so, the ideal situation when you're working with a customer is that as soon as they want you to be there, you show up on their doorstep and you're, providing a service, right? Because the quicker you can provide the service, the more valuable it is. So this technology is helping you get closer to that, where you're just able to provide that quicker service. So I think on multiple levels, using something like this video technology, making it easy, making it quick, is making your customers' lives easier. And so it's just like a really powerful tool that I think can really help out painting businesses. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's no longer just a great idea, right? This is actual reality. The fact of the matter is, in the age of Amazon, nobody likes to wait. I don't like to wait. Do you like to wait? I don't like to wait. I want everything now. I'm not even going to apologize. And your customers won't either, but they expect immediacy. And we know that people want it now because there's this little thing called Amazon Prime where people pay extra to get the packages faster. Like they could just wait another couple weeks and not pay for Amazon Prime, but they pay for it. It's just showing you human nature. We've got no patience anymore. And it doesn't matter. I mean, we can either grumble about it or we can kind of come alongside it. When somebody calls you, if they have pushback, right? Like, oh, I'm not sure I want to do video or go online. Say, well, I can book you for a week from now, and then you can wait around for me, and I can pull up my truck, and then, or I can just give you a bid now. We can literally, you just tap a text. Everything that we do is super encrypted. The Department of Defense uses our stuff. Like this stuff is uber safe for people. And the other thing you guys have to think about too is a lot of times when you go bid, you're during the day. Many times it's going to be a female, right? That's going to be there. The wife will be there, and women, and I'm not one, but I can imagine because I have a wife. Having a big burly guy, usually my painters, we're pretty tan because we've been in the sun, and we're pretty strong because we lift ladders. They come over. There's a little bit. You said tidy. Sometimes it's straight up safety. And some of your customers will appreciate that you're giving this option, and they get to meet you first. They get to see your face. And the other great thing is, do you have any painters on staff that stink at sales? I know I did. I had some painters that didn't even want to talk to the customers, like at all. I had to remind them, please at least just wave at them or smile or something. They're paying your bills. So now you can put your top salesperson in the sales seat every time, including yourself and maybe you as the owner. Maybe you hate doing sales calls. Make sure that your sales guy, you start there, letting them be the first face they see virtually. And then your salesperson knows how to close, and they'll close virtually, and they'll be excited about that. And every now and then they'll say, hey, look, this is a larger job or a commercial job. I'm going to do my pre-qualification call with video, and then go out there. And then the other thing it prevents is crappy bids. Have you ever driven out and the person had no idea how much a paint job cost, and then you bid it and they're like, oh, it's going to be that much? And then they're thinking, I'm just going to do it myself. What a waste of your time, right? So those pre-qualification calls are huge for your time savings and your selectivity of your customers. You don't do work with all of them. At least in the beginning, you probably do. But the more you mature, you start turning down the wrong kind of business. And you know what those types are. They usually start out with like, oh, I'm going to have to get 5 bids before you come out. Oh, great. So then what are they going to do? Oh, yeah, this person said it's going to be this much for the eaves and this much for the garage and this much for the paint. And you're like, goodness, race. Why don't I just do this for free, right? Why don't I become a nonprofit? So it's going to protect you in a lot of different ways that aren't always so, obvious, I think, at first.
Yeah. I think the time savings can't be understated. I'm just like thinking through, like you could probably do, about 6 estimates if you're doing traveling from job site to job site, maybe 6 estimates a day. But I feel like using something like this, you could probably do 12. It's just your capacities. I would guess it would be almost double of what it would be typically, which, like you said, give this technology to your best salesperson, and then, or if it's you or whoever, and then they can just kill it with just loading up their schedule with estimates done remotely. And I think,
Yep.
speaking to painting businesses that do remote sales, they basically have a similar sales process to what they would do in person. You're still doing all the same things you would typically do. You're just doing it on a video call, and it's just easier for the customer, for you, and better on time, for saving you a bunch of time. So it makes a lot of sense to at least start considering this type of technology.
Yeah, it does a few other things too that aren't obvious as well. It increases your radius, your serviceable radius, where you might not want to drive out for the bid, but if you could win a certain size deal, you would send your crew, especially those larger deals. You also start to target certain neighborhoods that you have always wanted to work in, and you can send and put QR codes. We have QR code to video on your flyers or door hangers, and you can target those neighborhoods. And now, not only do they get to see your glossy door hanger or mailer, there's a QR code that says, hey, start your bidding process now, scan this and take a video. So they can scan and take a video. And it's also good for your after hours bidding. Those busy customers that are working in the office and can't be home until 6 or 7 o'clock when your salespeople hate doing bids. Now you could say, hey, look, why don't I just send you a text or send you a link? And when you get home, go ahead and tap it, walk around, tell us what you want done, and we'll look at it that morning and give you a call back at your office and start giving you a bid and let you know if you missed anything. So you're now increasing your time to sell. And finally, you're allowing yourself to get staff from anywhere. Staffing is always a royal pain in the butt at times, right? So now you could get some of your salespeople that don't even live in the same state. I know it sounds crazy, or the same country. If you've started to hear things about people leveraging virtual assistants are happy to be on video. You can teach them how to bid, and you can bid after hours, during hours, even spillover. When your top salesperson is busy, now that spillover call, when you have that lead come in, can go to your virtual assistant, and it costs a third of the price for salary. So some other things to get going, especially if you're in a high cost area of the country, maybe you're painting in the city. Now you can have your salesperson rural or even in a lower cost state and have a lower hourly wage. So you start really protecting your bottom line now as well, because you have tools that allow for this type of customer experience.
Yeah, and it also just increases your hiring pool. If you're looking for the best salesperson, you're not limited to who's around you in a 20-mile radius. You now can look anywhere in the world essentially for
Yeah.
your perfect salesperson. So that's huge. Cool. Now we've been hitting on the sales process, but I feel like there's probably some ways we can improve just the overall customer experience once you get them to sign the contract. What other things we could implement this video technology? Uh, what else would be great for implementing in our painting businesses?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the operational side as well as just the customer satisfaction side and how you can really beef up your Google business as well and your stars through video. But first of all, what you can do is put a QR code on your truck, either inside the truck or outside the truck, where your team, anybody on the team, can scan the QR code and take a video. Let's say your team arrives on site and they notice damage to the gutters. Prior to anything done, they can go scan that QR code, take a video of any damage, any pre-existing issues, and cover your backside, right? You can also have your techs watch the sales video even at 2x speed to see what was agreed upon. That way they don't get there and the homeowner's like, oh yeah, they said the garage was be included as well. You're like, let me check the instant replay. No, we're happy to paint your garage, but you're going to need to pay for that. And so it can settle disputes, or if there's an issue. I've had guys fall off ladders, which is terrible, or he shot the wrong color, or all the things. Everyone listening knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, guys can scan the QR code and take a video for insurance claims, any issues, and then as well as in a happy customer, you can do before and after videos. You can do customer testimonials, which Google really loves, authentic, real, because they can tell that they're scanning your photos. By the way, they're watching the videos because Google wants to have the most authentic experience. They actually want a good product. And if you run a great business, Google wants to move you up, even if you don't pay for it. They want to have a good search experience. And also, you're starting to pop up in Chat GPT if you guys didn't know that. So AI is watching your business. So anything where you can add genuine pieces of media, like a customer testimonial, is going to really separate you in your area when people look for painters near me. And then eventually, too, you'll have some follow up where something will happen where there's an issue and the person you're done, your crew is off site and they call you and say, hey, there's an issue. Well, now you can put your eyes on it first, right? Before you even agree to go out. Try not to roll. The most expensive thing you do is put one of your team members in a truck or a car and drive them out. Your time wear and tear, gas in the vehicle, and hourly rates. So if you can solve a problem remotely first, your bottom line is going to love you, and so is your profit margin.
It makes a lot of sense. I, I mean, it just this makes so much sense to really look into LiveSwitch, like not only for sales but for operations, because there's just so many things. I'm just thinking through, like, for the handoff that you mentioned between sales and operations, like on your work order that you provide to your crew to do the work, you could include a link of the sales call, just in case that the crew lead wants to look through, and if, like you said, someone brings something up like, hey, can you also paint this thing, and he can just review just to make sure on the sales call was that actually brought up, and if not, then okay, that's a change order. uh so it's because it just makes things, you're capturing those details throughout the process. It just makes things a lot more easy and straightforward when you can just go back to the source truth. So I love that part of it too.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to really get everyone thinking about, and we leave a lot of money on the table. And here's what happens: is you're letting those leads come in, you're booking those leads, you're getting the business, and you're on to the next one. You just move on. Like you're just kind of like that's how you do it. You get the leads, you bid the leads, you do the work. Now I want you to start thinking about recurring revenue. It's liquid gold for your business, and how, as a painter, can you get recurring revenue? A lot of business home service businesses will create membership programs, platinum packages, and when your painter arrives on site, and again, sometimes your painters stick at selling or upselling, you can hand that prospect a tablet, like an iPad, and they can talk to your customer success agent who is going to check them out, talk about the work, and then start upselling them. Hey, while we're on, have you thought about the deck? We could seal your deck. Is there any interior painting that needs to be done, or vice versa? If there's an interior paint, the exterior paint, when's the last time you painted? let me introduce you to our protection plan, our platinum plan. What you're going to get on the platinum plan is if you purchase this and you guys decide your pricing, but let's say you charge $250 a year for protection, what it will get them is two things. One, you're going to hand them a 3x5 or a fridge magnet, and you're going to have a QR code, your own QR code, to say anytime you need washing, painting, interior, exterior, scan that QR code, walk around the house, take a video of what you need, and it'll upload to us. We'll watch it and call you, and we'll prioritize you on the calendar, right? Because you're a platinum member, so we're going to move you up, you know. But also, what we'll do is not because you want to give them something when they pay 250. Here's your QR code. Put this on the fridge, right? You literally want QR codes on property. I don't want them using any other painter or power washer ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I also want them having guests come over and say, "What's this thing on the paint, this protection plan thing you got?" And then also, if you really want to go one step further, say, "Hey, and what we're also going to do is when we're in the area every year, we're gonna steal your deck. We're going to combine because sealant was always so cheap. I just put in hand pressure, painters, and we fill it up with sealant, and then we can just coat the deck. But it gives you a chance to have a guy boots on the ground. Obviously you're getting paid. You get the $250 a year, and then a reminder of like, hey, we just sealed the deck. Again, is there any other washing, painting, interior, exterior needs you need? Or please let your friends know about us. This is the kind of stuff where you can, as you get every new customer, bring them in as recurring revenue, bring them in, as voices, because they have neighbors, and neighbors, when the house looks beautiful, it's the number one chance to snag the next neighborhood. Draw circles around your favorite neighborhoods and hit them with certain targets. This is a way to really, where your biggest profit margins are, invest in that, invest in those people that live in that neighborhood or that commercial building. And then, I mean, my favorite thing was when I put people on recurring deals in my power washing company. Like we're going to come every year, especially the larger ones, the apartment complexes, the law firms. And I'm just like, look, we got to protect the buildings or property management companies. And then we would just give them even a sweet deal. Like if you'll go ahead and pre-book, I'll even give you 5% off every year, and I want to put you on our protection plan. See, it all compounds for cash. And this is the kind of stuff, if you want to really crush that top line this year, you need to be thinking about. And there's simple technology like a LiveSwitch to help you with these kind of things.
I love the QR code idea. Just having that QR code on the fridge whenever they have a painting need, just scanning it and then showing, hey, we need XYZ painted, or we're having this issue. That's amazing. You get that, and then that's a lead right there. That's more work. I love that. That's awesome. Cool. Well, where can folks learn more about LiveSwitch? What should folks do?
Yeah, two things. One, go to our website, LiveSwitch, LiveSwitch.com, and we're going to be able to find us there. And come directly to me. Like if you go to our form, you fill it out, just say, I want to talk to James, because I love talking to my people, so to speak, because this is where I come from. And so we can talk, like last guy I was on with just the other day, we're talking through all these other ideas that had nothing to do with our technology. It was just blocking and tackling, how to bonus, how to recruit, how to, do X, Y, or Z. So I'm happy to do that. I've learned those lessons the hard way. And when you start to really think about how you're going to grow as a business owner or as a salesperson, I'm not sure what position you are as you listen to this, but put together your board of directors, right? Who sits on your board of directors? And it can be mastermind groups. There's podcasts, kind of like the one you're listening to right now. You're already a step ahead listening to this podcast. And then vendors, and not the cheesy vendors that are just trying to squeeze you for money, but vendors who are thoughtful. I get in front of so many business owners every week. I have a collection of all the do's and don'ts. We even put on virtual conferences, but I can be in your corner and be part of your board of directors that you want to build out and add to. And that'll always just save you. That's just good practice no matter what you do, is to have that counsel to you. But check us out on the website, ask for me, ask for James, and we'll sit down and we'll talk through this stuff.
Yeah, definitely recommend go to liveswitch.com. I'll also include a link in the show notes as well. This is really game-changing technology. So if you're interested, check it out. And is there any last thoughts or anything you want to leave with the audience before we let you go today, James?
One, I just want to say thank you, Daniel, what you're providing education-wise. You do this to educate. So thank you to you first. And thank you to the listeners. You guys are doing an honest job, day's work. You guys are out there beautifying our country, our assets, people's biggest asset, their homes, right? And so thank you for the hard work you do. I've done it before, and it really makes a difference for people and protecting their biggest investment. So thank you for the honest work you do every day.
Thanks, James. And with that, we will see you all next week.